week on Inside the NFL. We're on the road to the Mile High City to spotlight the defending Super Bowl champions. Among those joining us are quarterback John Elway and running back Terrell Davis. And we feature lineman Neil Smith in his lifelong battle against dyslexia. And now, from the sports capital of the country and the state capital of Colorado, it's Inside the NFL with your hosts Len Dawson, Nick Bonaconti, Chris Collinsworth, and Jerry Glanville.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's show, and what a beautiful day we have here in Denver, Colorado. But there's a lot of beautiful days here. About 8 months ago, they had a beautiful day. Some 750,000 fans jammed right in here to help the Broncos celebrate their first Super Bowl championship in 5 tries. But, hey, in a few months, they expect to celebrate another Super Bowl championship.
And it could be an even bigger crowd if this team goes undefeated.
Oh, wait, not the
could.
undefeated word. Please don't bring up undefeated.
Particularly not you. Did anybody mention that to you?
Oh, no, no one mentioned it. I just get off the airplane. The first person I meet here in Denver, Nick, we're going to break your record. We're going to go undefeated. Don't they know they can't break it? All they can do is tie it?
But this is a good football team. Any similarities between the 72 Dolphins and this year's team?
That's what bothers me, Lenny, is that they have a lot of similarities. The biggest one is they have the confidence every time they hit the field that they are going to win the football game.
And I think a big reason for that confidence is now, for the first time maybe in 10 or 15 years, they now believe they can win without a John Elway. And if there's one guy now that you have to pick off this football team that maybe they can't win without, Terrell Davis.
I'm not even so sure about that. After watching the Bronco game film, I never saw a back break out 10, 15-yard runs. Nobody lays a hand on them. And that credit's got to go to the offensive line, but we think it really goes to Alex Gibbs, the offensive line coach. They're playing as good as ever, and they're missing 3 starters from the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Let's give credit to Mike Shanahan. Boy, he's got this team
Is he
prepared.
still there?
He's here. He's got them prepared every week. I don't think he has an ego. I don't think the key players, particularly on that offense unit, they have egos as well.
But
this is 6 games. I'm not
you're
going to concede
I
it
was
yet.
waiting for you to stop because they have not gone on the road to Kansas City. They have to play Miami and Miami. And they also have to play Cincinnati. Well, forget Cincinnati.
I'd like to forget Cincinnati.
That's because we used to live you good.
Not every time.
Hey, we're going to be talking to the Broncos head coach Mike Shanahan as well as John Elway, Shannon Sharpe, and Terrell Davis in just a bit. You know, Denver plays Jacksonville on Sunday, and this was supposed to be a battle of unbeatens. But Doug Flutie and the Buffalo Bills spoiled all of that.
In Buffalo, the perfect autumn picnic features items from each of the 4 major food groups: meats, vegetables, grains, and the ever-popular condiments. For the Bills to catch up with the AFC East leaders, they would have to knock off the undefeated Jaguars with backup Doug Flutie under center.
5-1 today. The Jacksonville Jaguars will be 5-1. We are bad and we're better than these people. And we're going to whip their ass.
You got to be selfish. When it's 3rd and long, say, I'm going to make a play. Don't depend on nobody else.
Despite fielding 3rd and 4th string running backs due to injuries, Jacksonville began the game with a balanced 16-play, 10.5-minute drive, which proved to be their most fruitful of the afternoon.
Turns, hands off, Tavian Banks running to the right, cuts it outside, now cuts it in. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
We got to stay after their ass and just keep kicking it. Don't allow them, don't give them a chance to breathe. We're not in the CPR business here now.
Flutie breathed life into Buffalo's offense a few possessions later. But for the remainder of the game, the defenses dominated as neither team crossed the goal line for over 40 minutes of play.
With your hands so they see you being held. You just stand there and let them take it. Come on, Dougie Fresh.
It is Flutie's size, never his athleticism, that has been questioned, and his ability to create on the move and tenacious desire to win kept the Bills within striking distance. Down 6 with under a minute to play, Flutie once again evidenced his flair for the dramatic.
Throws long, a man is there, he's got it, and he's in for the touchdown. He is in
was down at the 1-yard line. A touchdown that wasn't a touchdown.
After 3 incompletions, Flutie added another chapter to his growing volume of storybook finishes.
Does Flutie have a pro miracle? Here's Flutie rolling out, and he is in for the touchdown. This place is bedlam. It is bonkers. It is bananas. It is unbelievable.
Yes, baby. Yes, baby. Feel the power.
The second undefeated team to come into Orchard Park and go away with a loss. Do you believe it? Doug Flutie, poetic justice.
The play was supposed to be a sweep to Thurman Thomas, but finding Thomas well out of position, number 7 fittingly won the game by himself.
Hey guys, it was a big ball game. Let's enjoy it today. Tomorrow we got to go back to work. We got a ball game next week. It's going to be the biggest ball game of the year.
You can't blame John Lynch and the Buccaneers for being nervous before last Sunday's game against the Panthers. Another loss in a playoff appearance could be out of reach.
We got to understand something, man. We got to win this game. We get back to 500. That's what we want to do. Play with energy, man. Play with energy. And above all, man, let's go have some fun. Knock some folks out. Knock them out. 1, 2, 3, finish. Hey, defense, let's go. Sam, get the guys. Go.
As a safety, Lynch must roam the field, defending against the run and the pass, as he helps lead the swarming Bucs defense. He must also watch his back. Both teams managed only a field goal in the first half. But not harassing the Carolina offense, the Bucs were pestering the officials.
Hey, that's a flag, man! Hey, you see where he tackled him? 84. He tackled him out there on the yellow line. He didn't slam him down or anything. What are you talking about? Look at this. Hey, look.
The only thing really up for debate was the play calling of the Buccaneer offense.
They're blitzing.
Leaving one man to block NFL sack leader Kevin Green simply won't work.
You got to clamp these guys down, man. You got to clamp them down.
The Panthers finally penetrated Tampa Bay's red zone, setting up a 1st and goal on the Buccaneers' 1-yard line. On first down, Lynch exploded into the backfield, stopping Fred Lane for a loss. On 2nd down, Lynch almost intercepted a sure touchdown pass. Carolina came up dry on 3rd down as well, as they were forced to cut bait and settle for a field goal. But Lynch could only regret the one that got away.
Damn, Warren. Could have gone 90. We need this game. We need this. Come on.
Carolina's next trip to the red zone produced the game's first touchdown.
He dives in the end zone, touchdown. Boy, fell on his back.
Fred's got a new dance.
You guys suck it up because you're going right back out there. Get your rest and you're going right back out there. Go. Hey, let's see what we're made of. Let's see what we're made of right here. Let's go, Hardware. Let's see what we're made of. Let's see what we're made of. Let's go.
Down 13-3, the lethargic Buccaneers offense finally awakened.
Play action bootleg. Dilfer will run it in. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Great call from the boot. Dilfer bootlegging left and scoring from a yard out. Turn it right back around. Put it right back on the field and we win it.
Damn right. Tempo, let's roll it. Let's roll it.
We got an opportunity. Dropping Dilfer. Good protection. Garcia throws the fade to the near sideline. Touchdown!
Touchdown! Touchdown! Woo! Woo! Woo!
But there's still a minute 39. Let's celebrate while we enjoy a 16-13 lead.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
The Buccaneers had missed the extra point, leaving the Panthers down by a field goal with time running out.
Come on, fellas! Come on! This is what it's all about!
Carolina drove into field goal range before Tampa Bay's defense stiffened. Kicker John Casey was left with a 47-yarder to tie the game.
Trying to tie. High snap. Here's the kick. Airborne. Plenty of distance. Casey gave it a long ride.
Sucker nailed that. He nailed that kick right there. I thought that was good. Did it look like you?
All right. Hey, no doubt about it, a big win. One we had to have. It didn't go exactly the way we wanted it to go. Didn't know if we could beat them. If we turned the ball over more than they did, if we made more mistakes than they did. They fought all the way. We fought for 60 minutes. And that's what you got to do in this league.
Here we go. Big plays all day today. Here we go.
Amazingly, this Falcons-Saints game was the only one last week that featured two winning teams. With a win, Dan Reeves' squad could match their best start ever. No wonder a Falcon Love Fest enthusiastically filled the Georgia Dome. Jamal Anderson rewarded the crowd, rushing for his fourth 100-yard game in a row.
Here's Jamal Anderson. Anderson running room. 20, 15, 10. Jamal trying to get into the end zone. Is he in? Yes! Touchdown, Falcons! What a run by Jamal Anderson. He goes 31 yards for the Falcons score, and he did a lot of it on his own.
In the second quarter, Atlanta stung New Orleans with a pair of long-distance scores.
From the 45-yard line for the Falcons, and the Saints. Chandler will throw, going long down the field, open man, touchdown Falcons! Tony Martin, touchdown, 45 yards. Wow!
But the Saints pulled off a pair of second quarter strikes of their own.
As he brings the ball down, now scrambles up in the pocket, throwing on the run. He's got pulled downfield. It's pulled at the 30, at the 20, at the 15, at the 10, at the 5. Keith Poole scores! 64-yard strike.
Keep coming off. Keep coming off. We'll run it all day. I don't care, okay? We'll run it all day. You guys keep coming off.
New Orleans heeded Mike Ditka's demands by knocking Chris Chandler out of the game. It brought on a 44-year-old antique of a backup, Steve DeBerg.
This is truly the Falcons' worst nightmare. They knew they were incredibly thin at quarterback. If Chandler's out of there for any length of time, despite what Steve DeBerg does the rest of the way here, this team's in real trouble.
Get up to the line of scrimmage! Get up to the line of scrimmage! Get up there!
In the fourth quarter, DeBerg tossed his first touchdown pass in 5 years. It kept the Falcons in front to stay.
And he dumps it to Bob Christian. First down, Falcons. Christian on his feet. Touchdown! Oh, Christian into the end zone. And what a drive. Turnover, baby, turnover. Out of the shotgun. Oliver across the middle, and it's picked off. Picked off by Eugene Robinson. Got into the end zone, and the Falcons press it out even further. The fourth turnover of the day for the New Orleans Saints. And listen to the crowd inside the Georgia Dome.
The leading interceptor in the NFL among active players puts a big shot on Billy Joe Tolliver and the Saints.
And I looked, I'm running up the field. I looked, I said, oh, I just got the quarterback alive. And I said, all I got to do is cut in. Just cut in. If I cut in, I can score. I'm not even trying to run fast.
The Red Rocks, created 70 million years ago. With us today, we have two ingredients that created the Denver Broncos about 3 years ago. Terrell Davis and my man, Shannon Sharpe. Good to have you with us, guys. First of all over the country, they're saying the same thing. The Broncos are going to go undefeated. What do you two think? Undefeated?
I don't touch that question.
How about you?
No, we're going to leave that alone. We're just going to play them one at a time.
The people that you're playing this week, they're the ones that took something away from you a couple years ago. Is there a rivalry here?
I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, it's a game that I still hold. I still think about a lot. And it was something that we had the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl that year. They took it away from us, and I think it's becoming a rivalry, if it not already is. So it's something that I look at each year, and I see them on the schedule, and it's something that I gear up for.
What I see, though, they beat you at home. Yeah. How many people have done that?
There's no question about it, and I've said it before. Losing hurts worse than winning feels good. And I never, ever want to feel like I did walking off that field. It's never going to leave me. I don't care if we win 5 Super Bowls in the next 5 years. I'm never, ever going to forget that Jacksonville game. I'm never going to forget that game.
I see more runs if Terrell Davis breaks out, gone to the sideline, makes a move, and sometimes 10, 12 yards, and nobody touched you yet. Who do you give credit to that?
Oh, that's definitely to the line. This guy,
and the tight end? He's not blocking for you?
No, Shannon's doing a good job over there. But yeah, Shannon's funny. Shannon's funny in huddle. You know, I definitely have to credit that to the line, Shannon, you know, the wide receivers. And I think it's Alex Gibbs who emphasized that everybody has a part in the running game. And no one's bigger than the next person as far as the running game is concerned. Even John has to block on certain plays. So I think if you have 11 guys on the field going toward this rushing game, then I think it makes the running game a lot smoother.
I want to know who grades John and whether his block was good or not.
Nobody. As long as he gets in his way or he bluffs at it, we give him A+. Because, you know, it's funny, though. We have like a fine system. We have a system that's in place, and we can like all vote against John, but will nobody implement it because he's the supreme, he's the chief justice.
So if you got 53 votes, you're telling me John's vote is 54?
Exactly. Exactly.
That's the way I want to be. Well, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having us on, guys.
Jerry, appreciate it.
Back to you, Lenny.
Jerry, thank you very much. It doesn't get any better than Terrell Davis and Shannon Sharpe. You know, Terrell Davis leads the NFL in rushing, but even a 2,000-yard season does not assure him of the NFL rushing title. That's because Barry Sanders is in the league.
Last Thursday night, the Detroit Lions seemed to be the unlucky team in the path of the Green Bay Packers, who are looking to take out their frustrations following a blowout loss to the Vikings in their previous game.
We got embarrassed last week. We all know we're better than that. And the only reason we got embarrassed is because of what we did, not because of what they did. As long as we know that, we're going to be all right. Let's play our game tonight. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about the crowd. But we got to start early and be physical. We'll win this ball game. Every play, someone taking upon themselves to make the difference and win the football game.
Early on, the Packers appeared to be back on track.
Looks, wants to loop it up the sidelines. There's Freeman at the 40. He's going to go for it. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. They're beating on the corner. Brian Westbrook and Antonio Freeman has scored the touchdown. It looked like 9. And the safety kicked over. He was right there. They stay or not. They stay.
But after Green Bay jumped to a quick 10-0 lead, the Lions kept Brett Favre and his offense on a tight leash the rest of the night, as the Packers just couldn't seem to stay out of trouble.
Please, you can't get out of the doghouse, can you? I'm trying. You love it in there. Love it.
It was Favre who was dogged all night by Lions safety Mark Carrier, who came up with 2 of his team's 3 interceptions.
Looking left, fires, and intercepted. Brooks, the intended receiver, Carrier with his second interception.
Mark Carrier, without question, has just been outstanding tonight.
Okay.
Did I have him over here?
Yeah, both of them.
They bailed out.
Yeah, they just bailed on him. Okay?
While Favre struggled, Lions rookie Charlie Batch was in control all night, completing 16 of 19 passes, the highest percentage for a rookie in nearly 40 years.
4th down and inches. Charlie Batch, play action, Batch wide open, touchdown, Lions took it. How about that fake by Charlie Batch?
That's a beautiful job. That's a way to do it. That's a way to do it. That's a way to do it. That's one hell of a job, baby. That's just like you draw it up. That's beautiful, beautiful.
Good protection out there, baby.
Come on, Charlie. Whip out the gun, baby. Come on.
Early in the 4th quarter, Batch gave the Lions their first lead.
Long over the middle, and one-hand grab. Crowell! And he will score! Touchdown, Jermaine Crowell!
What a catch! Crowell was covered. I mean, there wasn't any room at all, but Charlie Batch threw it up there.
I think he'll save that ball. That's his first NFL touchdown catch.
Put the ball in the only spot you could have put it in.
With the Lions protecting a 4-point lead, they found the surest way to put the game away. Barry Sanders' 73-yard score broke the Packers' backs and secured an impressive victory that could turn Detroit's season around.
How about that? 73 yards from Barry Sanders.
When in doubt, give it to Barry.
Fantastic job. You play with great poise. You play with intensity. You play with toughness. Very, very proud of you.
In Minnesota, the Vikings let their hair down a little bit, but there would be no letdown versus the 0-6 Redskins. After an early 7-0 lead, the Skins lost the handle on Randall. Cunningham made like his old Houdini self, throwing for 259 yards and leading the Vikings to 41 unanswered points.
Cunningham cocks and fires. Touchdown, Chris Carter. 19-yard line of the Redskins and a toss sweep. Robert Smith at the 20 at the corner. 15, still going 10-5. Touchdown. Give to Leroy Horde over the top. Touchdown, Vikings. He finally made it.
Leroy Horde rushed for 2 touchdowns, and Cunningham added 2 through the air to give the unbeaten Vikings their best start since 1975. In New York, the Giants awoke from their early season slumber to try and sweep aside the visiting Cardinals. A fierce battle was waged in the pit, but the Little Red Birds from Arizona didn't have much of a chance against Giants named Greg and Stone. New York's offensive line paved the way for the run and gave their quarterback time to pass, in essence killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Danny Canal was nearly perfect, passing for a career-high 259 yards and 3 touchdowns, including 1 to wide receiver Chris Callaway. Callaway's score put the Giants up 27-7, and midway through the 4th quarter, Canal connected with Amani Toomer for the finishing touch. Last Sunday, New York finally looked like the defending NFC East champions, recording the most lopsided victory of the Jim Fossil era. And their groundbreaking offensive performance may be a sign of big things to come. A long shadow this time of year is a sure sign that June is a-comin'. And new head coach June Jones got the Chargers off on the right foot. Big Natron Means kicked up 112 yards versus the Eagles, busting his way for the Chargers' only touchdown.
Natron room, 15, 10, 5, moving, touchdown Chargers. What a run by what a runner.
Charlie Garner answered for the Eagles with a 12-yard run in the 4th quarter.
Coming across the 5 and in for the touchdown is Charlie Garner.
After a John Carney field goal put the Chargers up by 3, linebacker Junior Seau and the defense put the game away. The Chargers improved to 3-4, while the sputtering Eagles are now 0-12-1 in their last 13 road games.
Coming up on HBO's Inside the NFL.
The 49ers stage a wild comeback from 21 points down. And it's been 20 years since the Holy Roller, one of the wildest finishes in NFL history.
As Inside the NFL's roadshow continues from Colorado Rocky Mountains.
Home of the undefeated world champion Denver Broncos.
Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos. I know it sounds good to this guy right here. And, John, I was in your locker room after that Super Bowl win, and I was looking over at you. And it was like you're almost run out of people to hug, and you're sort of sitting around looking, now, I don't have to win another game, do I? And they can't take it away. I mean, did it take a while to really sink in?
You know what? Even to this day, until you really just sit down and think, say to yourself that, hey, we're still, world champions. It still hasn't really clicked in. The only thing that's clicked in is we haven't had to answer the questions on why we haven't won one yet. So that's been an awful nice surprise this year. But yeah, it's a dream come true. It was back then, and will be for the rest of my life. That'll be such a memory I'll never forget.
It has to be more fun for you playing football this year with that burden removed.
Yeah, it is. And I think that, you didn't realize the pressure that it put on you when you're going through it, even though, like I said, that's all you seem to answer the questions about is the fact that we hadn't won one. So, I mean, by not having to deal with that all the time, being able to go out, just really go out and have fun and realize that, people want to say, well, there's more pressure on you this year to win another one. I said, no, there'll never be pressure like there was to win the first one. And if we get another one, it'd be great. But it is fun to play now.
This week you played Jacksonville, and that's the team that a lot of people point to now and say that was the beginning of the Denver Broncos, this new era, when they beat you at home in the playoff game. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think it put them on the map. There's no question. And I think that, they were a young team, and I think it was a big boost for them. But, we knew coming into this year that Jacksonville was going to be one of the teams that we had to beat. We're fortunate to get them at home, so we know they're a great football team, and this may not be the last time we see them. We know that that they've got the capabilities of going to the playoffs, and so it's important for us to win this one.
It's a big vote coming up in Denver in a couple of weeks concerning whether or not you build a new stadium here in town. A lot of rumors are going around that part of the reason John Elway is coming back this season is he wants to help with the stadium vote, and then in turn he's going to be a part owner of the Denver Broncos. How much of that is true? How much of it is fiction?
Well, as far as the ownership, none of that's true. I think that I'm still a football player, but I think that there was no question that was part of my decision. I think that I owed it to Pat Bowlen, wanted to help him succeed in getting this stadium, because I think what he's done for this city and this state and the fans for the Denver Broncos, I think it's something that I'd like to see him get. So I mean, sure, that had a big part of it, because he's put a lot into this football team to try to get us to be where we were last year, and that's world champs.
John, good luck.
Thanks.
Lenny, back to you.
Thank you, Chris. Just because John Elway and his teammates are rich, fit, and champions on the field doesn't give them immunity from problems and challenges that the rest of us face. In the case of Neil Smith, it's meant a lifelong battle with dyslexia. Brian Burwell has the story.
For most young kids, elementary school is a fairly benign place, as easy as ABC. But that was not the case for young Neil Smith. Suffering with dyslexia, the mere sight of these letters simply terrified him.
It was a nightmare. My most fear was when I actually was in the class, and I was afraid to go in because I was afraid that, someone would find out that I couldn't read, or someone would find out that I was very slow and that I wasn't the same.
For 6 painful years, Smith struggled with his nightmare, not knowing that he, along with 1 in 7 Americans, suffered from this learning disability, which affects the brain's ability to process reading, spelling, writing, and often spoken language. With the words on a printed page often appearing a jumbled mess, young Neil was lost in the classroom and went into a defensive shell because no one in his elementary school in New Orleans ever diagnosed it properly.
My reading teacher, she would come back and say, well, tell my mom that Neil is a lazy kid. And then I had to come back and tell my mom it's something that, something wrong. And I don't know what it is. I can't read it. Going to junior high school, I was put, in special education classes, and where there was help, I was teased about it. You're special ed. You can't read. You're dummy. All of these words that really hurts, kids, and it hurted me.
Now fast forward to today, where Smith, the Broncos' Pro Bowl defensive end, no longer allows words to cause him pain, waging an incredibly successful war of words against dyslexia. After years of keeping his disability a secret, Neil went public 2 years ago. Joining forces with the Foundation for Exceptional Children, his work in the Kansas City area with kids with learning disabilities became acclaimed, and he put his fears aside in the form of his new children's book, Yes, I Can, Struggles from Childhood to the NFL.
you know, I really don't want to come out in a way and letting people know that I had dyslexia. But I felt like that's what I had to do. Why not help a kid or two? Years from now, when I'm finished, one kid can say, you know, I heard you say that you had a learning disability problem, and I had one too, and I'm a senator.
After years of help, Smith has won his personal battles with dyslexia, but the old fears still haunt him. He has a family now, and with the births of each of his 3 children, Smith has held his breath.
I was really scared. You know, I really didn't know if it was hereditary. I started really looking at it to see, was it a problem there? And thank God it wasn't. I have a 1-year-old now, and I really don't know. Am I afraid for him? Yes, I am, but I don't want him to go through what I have. But yet, if he does have the problem, then I know how to approach it. I get flashbacks all the time. Go ahead, and it humbles me, man. It really does, and I know how these kids, how they feel. You know, a lot of them not going to come out and say that I have a problem.
In these cynical times, it's easy to proclaim there are no heroes anymore until we see Neil Smith, who gives us something rich and satisfying to cling to, an inspiration in the face of uncommon adversity.
Neil Smith is a good man. He does not want to see other people go through what he had to go through. Gentlemen, let's talk about the other undefeated team in the National Football League, the Minnesota Vikings, traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. The Lions last week upset Green Bay. Can they make it 2 in a row?
Well, I'm tired of hearing about the Vikings 3 wide receiver offense.
You don't like wide receivers. Just tell everybody.
Well, that's part of it. But I think the Vikings are winning because of their defense. In the last 2 games, they've got 4 interceptions and 7 sacks. I think the Vikings defense wins it again.
I like Charlie Batch, the rookie quarterback for the Detroit Lions. Why? Because he hasn't turned the ball over in the last 3 ball games. But I also like Randall Cunningham. He protects the football as well. I like Minnesota.
Is it too late for me to get on the Charlie Batch bandwagon?
Way too late. Way too late.
I like that guy now. And I also like Detroit's defensive line. Luther Ellis, Robert Porcher. Boy, did they get after Brett Favre last week. But they're going right into the strength of the Minnesota Vikings. That's that offensive line. I'm taking Minnesota.
Let's take a look at another divisional matchup in the AFC East. New England traveling to Miami.
You know, the Dolphins defense at home has not given up a single point in the last 2.5 games. That's enough for me. I'm taking Miami.
The Dolphins do not have 4 wideouts to put out there like the Jets did last week against New England. So New England's defense is going to match up well. I like New England.
Well, I think the Dolphins' weakness is their offense. They can't score enough points to beat a team like New England. And now the Dolphins don't have an audible system. New England will load that thing up. Their defense wins it.
Well, those are our thoughts on those 2 ball games. Now let's go back to the Broncos practice facility where Nick is with the head coach, Mike Shanahan.
Thanks, Lenny. Coach, Bob McKittrick, the offensive line coach of the 49ers. He coached under George Seifert, coached under Bill Walsh. You coached with him. He says out of the 3, you are the smartest.
Well, you got to have great players, and I've been very fortunate when I was in San Francisco to have guys like Steve Young, Jerry Rice, and Brent Jones, and being here with a guy like John Elway, Terrell Davis, and a bunch of great players.
But you are a real involved coach. You're involved in the offense, you're involved in the defense, the special teams. You're considered hands-on.
I enjoy it. I think that's part of the game that I really enjoy. I've always been a technician, offense and defense. I've enjoyed that part of the game, and I really believe to stay in the game as a head football coach that you've got to rely on knowing, you know, the systems, both offensively, defensively, and special teams, and I pride myself in that area.
Well, I want to ask you a little bit about your team. Offensively, you almost look perfect. Defensively, you're playing great. Special teams are terrific. Now, without giving me the party line, is there a weakness on this Denver team?
Well, we don't like to think there's a weakness. You know, to me, the weaknesses come if you don't prepare accordingly during the week. If you take a little bit easy in your preparation, or guys aren't giving it, you know, the 110% effort during the week, that gives you a chance to not be successful on the weekends. But right now, our players believe in what we're doing. They're playing at a certain level, and hopefully we can keep that up.
In your contract with Denver Broncos, you have a special clause. And it says that if Pat Bowlen, the owner, sells the Broncos, then you are free from your contract to negotiate with another team. Now, I talked to a bunch of agents around the league, and they said it's highly unusual. What was your thinking to have that in there?
Well, number one, I think as a football coach, you'd like to be able to control your own destiny. And a lot of people think about numbers, financial numbers, as being number one. To me, if you're not winning, it's not a lot of fun to be coaching. And for some reason, if the stadium wasn't passed, and Pat did sell the football team and someone else purchased his team, I'd like to have that decision to, to work for that owner or go elsewhere.
John Elway, is he 100% ready to get back?
He's ready to get back. I wouldn't say he's 100%. He's still a little bit banged up. He's got some sore ribs. His back is a little bit sore, but John's a competitor. He's going to give everything he's got, and hopefully with this extra week in recovery time, he'll be 100% by Sunday.
Good luck this Sunday, Coach.
Thanks, Nick.
Well, Mike Shanahan knows how sweet it is to beat his old team, the Raiders, while up in New England, as Halloween approaches, the tuna Bill Parcells continues to haunt the Patriots.
While any meeting between bitter rivals is sure to provide plenty of fireworks, Bill Parcells' annual return to Foxborough had both teams primed to detonate. The Jets took the lead with the first of 3 Vinny Testaverde touchdown passes.
In trouble, dumps it short to Brady, dives for the goal line, touchdown! Touchdown, New York Jets!
Not one to lie still, Drew Bledsoe returned fire to tight end Lovett Purnell. Leading late in the game, Testaverde ignited a long bomb which put the game away.
Throws the bomb, but Dedrick Ward who makes the catch, touchdown!
While all may be forgiven for some, count on another grudge match when these two teams meet again in Week 17. Welcome to Miami, where the Fishheads run free and the league's third-ranked defense rules the land with devastating force. Against the Rams, the Dolphins' defense registered its second straight home shutout, while their inconsistent offense got a boost from Dan Marino, who tossed 2 scoring passes.
Marino back to pass on first down. He's throwing for Avery going down the sideline. Avery makes the catch. Touchdown!
The jubilant Dolphins are now tied for first in the AFC East. Few would have deemed Indianapolis worthy of bursting San Francisco's first-place bubble. But on their first offensive snap, Marshall Faulk popped a big one.
Turns the corner, 40, 45, cuts back to midfield, 50, they go! 45, 40! 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, and they call it a touchdown!
The frisky Colts were physical and proficient, taking an early 21-0 lead and then keeping the pressure on when the Niners dared to keep pace.
San Francisco showing blitz. Here they come. Quick throw to the outside. Caught as broken Payton down to the 50. 45, 40. 35, 30. 25, 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison took it the length of the field after breaking a tackle. Third touchdown of the day.
Despite Harrison's heroics, the Colts' victory grip would be loosened by Steve Young, who ferociously willed his team back into the game. After much deliberation, J.J. Stokes was awarded a touchdown, and as the game entered the fourth quarter, Steve Young was simply unstoppable, throwing for more than 300 yards in a record 6th straight game. Trailing by 8 in the fourth quarter, Young darted and dodged his team downfield, and then shredded the Colts with an improvisational masterpiece.
Straight back route. Steps up in the pocket, takes off. Lots of room up the middle. He might go. Down to the 10, down to the 5. Cuts to the right, pushes off, into the end zone. No! What a score by Steve Young for the touchdown. 23-yard scramble. The best by Steve Young since the Minnesota Viking game a decade ago.
Young's 40th career touchdown run did more than tie him with Jack Kemp for the most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback. It combined with a 2-point conversion to pull the Niners even with the stunned Colts. And after a late Colt field goal try fell short, San Francisco set up Wade Ritchie for the potential game winner.
Randy Kirk to Detmer to Ritchie, and between the goalposts and the 49ers with 5 seconds to go come all the way back from 21-0.
The comeback win moved the Niners to 5-1, keeping pace with the surprising Falcons atop the NFC West.
The Continental Divide, everything to the east flows to the Atlantic, everything to the west flows to the Pacific.
Professor!
Thank you very much.
Jerry's picks.
They flow right down the coast.
come on.
Hey, let's get right into this big game in Denver. We got the Broncos hosting Jacksonville.
Yeah, key matchups here, though. You got Deion Figures, Aaron Beasley, the secondary of Jacksonville, going against Ross Smith and Shannon Sharp. But those aren't the keys in this game. Ed McCaffrey, a Chris Collinsworth lookalike. He on third down, John Elway's target.
You know who Mike Shanahan says is the key is Mark Brunell. In that playoff game a couple of years ago, Mike said, we had everything in the right place. We had him contained. Everything was just right. And then he breaks out there, scrambles, makes a run, throws one down the field. He's the X factor.
He's allowed to do that, you know.
He's tough.
I think the key guy is Dick Duran.
Dick Duran.
Dick Duran,
I know him.
Defensive coordinator for Jacksonville. He loves the blitz. He's got a quarterback, Elway, with a sore hamstring, can't run, bruised ribs. I think the blitz will be big on Elway.
Denver's defensive front's doing a much better job this year against the run, and this week they're getting Alfred Williams back. He hasn't played since the Super Bowl of a year ago. He'll probably play 15 or 20 plays. That will help an already very good defense against the run.
You know, as good a player as Mark Brunell is, we saw last week, without a healthy running game, you simply are not the same guy. He had the fewest yards passing of his entire career. They couldn't score down the red zone. Fred Taylor should be able to play in this one, but I don't think he's 100%. I'm taking Denver.
This is a revenge game for the Denver Broncos. Yeah, the Bronco players say, oh, no, we forgot about that game 2 years ago when they knocked us out of the playoffs. Forget it. Revenge wins over. The Denver wins.
And I'm looking at Jacksonville on the road. They struggle in Chicago. They struggle at Tennessee. They get beat up in Buffalo, and they'll get beat here in Denver.
I'm going to pick Denver because I want to see you continue to sweat about that undefeated.
I do, too.
I like that. That's a good reason.
We all like Denver, but then again, last week we all liked Dallas.
On Sunday, Deion and the Cowboys gave thanks and praise to the all-powerful NFL schedule makers who blessed Dallas with 3 straight opponents whose combined win total is 1. Despite a 1-5 record, the Bears kept the faith and battled Dallas for a 7-6 lead in the second half.
Throws the right side, and it's caught on the end zone. Touchdown! Between 2 defenders. Chris Penn on the reception.
A fake to Emmitt Smith left tight end David LaFleur open for a 12-7 lead. But a failed 2-point conversion attempt left them vulnerable in the fourth quarter. After a Chicago field goal cut the lead to 12-10, Curtis Enis plowed through the Dallas defense, giving Jeff Jager a chance for the game winner.
There's the snap, placement made, kick to the upright, and it is good!
Jager's heroics boosted the Bears' record to 2-5, and this week they travel to Tennessee to face an Oiler team whose flags were at half-mast early in the season. But with a victory over Baltimore in Week 6, Oiler flags were now flying high.
Quick pitch. Archie wants to throw. Halfback option. Throws it in the end zone. Touchdown Oilers! Archie on a halfback option.
Quarterback Steve McNair found rookie Kevin Dyson for a score on his way to 277 yards passing. The Oilers pounded the Bengals from every angle, handing them their worst loss since 1992.
Block to the right, Pickens to the left. Play action. The ball is not loose. It's picked up by the Oilers. And it's juggled and picked up. It's going to be a touchdown for Bowden. And the rest of the roof, what little was standing, is caved in on Cincinnati.
The 44-14 thrashing raised the Oilers to 3-3 and into good standing in the AFC Central. While some fat cats relax in the luxury box, Pittsburgh owner Dan Rooney doesn't mind chewing the fat with the common folk. But this season, he has watched his once potent offense go belly up. But the Steelers' defense bailed them out again, picking off Raven quarterbacks 3 times. And in Ron Woodson's first game in Pittsburgh since the 1996 season, he let revenge slip right through his fingers. In a defensive struggle, the game's only touchdown would seal the victory.
In the shotgun against the blitz, Cordell is back. He throws it near sideline. A man is open. Charles Johnson is gone. There goes C.J. He takes it to the house. 56 yards.
C.J. left him 7 yards behind. 7 yards, I'm telling you.
The Steelers are now only 1 game behind the Jaguars for first place in the AFC Central.
Coors Field, one of the standards for Major League Baseball, and one of the standards for the new information age, our own Gary Myers. I thought you might. You know, a lot of people don't know that Coors Field is also tied into the new football stadium they're trying to get built here.
That's right, Chris, and a crucial vote is coming up here on November 3rd that will severely impact the future of the Denver Broncos. They don't feel they can compete financially in free agency with their current stadium situation. They make so much less in stadium revenue than other teams do. Broncos owner Pat Bowlen said he will never move the Broncos, but he has certainly raised the possibility that he might have to sell the Broncos if this vote does not pass. And we've heard earlier in the show from Mike Shanahan how the stadium vote could impact his future as coach of the Broncos. According to the team, the latest polls show that 58% of the people here are in favor of voting for the tax that would help build this stadium. A lot of good feelings here in Denver, Chris, because Broncos have not lost a game since last December.
That's right, and Paul Tagliabue coming in to try and help this campaign along. Earlier we talked with Shannon Sharpe, and we asked him who the Broncos quarterback is going to be 5 years from now. He said, John Elway, of course. Now we know that's probably not the case. Who will it be?
Well, you know, I asked Mike Shanahan. Certainly he's not going to look 5 years down the road. But next year, he says, if John Elway does not return, he's very comfortable going into the season with Bubby Brister, Brian Griese, Jeff Lewis. Brister would probably at least go into training camp as a starter. And that was what his plan would have been this year if John Elway did not return. He said on June 1st he was coming back. If he said no, Shanahan was still not going to pursue a veteran free agent like Vinny Testaverde.
All right, the league meetings this week. I assume the new Cleveland Browns franchise, one of the hot topics.
Right, and Paul Tagliabue could present a resolution amendment to a law right now, a rule that does not allow assistant coaches to interview for head coaching jobs while their teams are still playing in the playoffs. It would strictly be for the Cleveland Browns to allow them to interview coaches while that team is still alive in the playoffs. They feel the Browns are at a disadvantage because they got started so late. But I certainly think that teams that change coaches at the end of this year and are not allowed to interview until that team is done in the playoffs will be at a disadvantage competing against the Browns for somebody like Broncos coordinator Gary Kubiak.
All right, tell me the league reaction quickly now to Kevin Gogan's claim that Andre Royal used a racial slur against them.
Well, certainly the league does not condone any kind of trash talking, but feels it will be impossible to monitor all the conversations that go on in the league. They have no intention of investigating what supposedly happened last Sunday in San Francisco.
All right, Gary, thanks. We'll see you in New York.
Okay, Chris.
Lenny, back to you.
Thanks, Chris. Now it's time for our NFL Storybook. And this week we feature one of the most memorable endings to any NFL game ever. Happened 20 years ago. You know, it's funny. Only the Steelers can have an immaculate reception happen to them. Only the Cowboys can have their Hail Mary answered. And only a team like the Raiders can be known for the Holy Roller.
Oakland trails 20-14. 10 seconds left. The crowd takes up a chant of defense. Robisky and Banaszak are the back. Saber back. Here comes the rush. He sidesteps. Can he throw? He can't. The ball flipped forward is loose. A wild scramble. 2 seconds on the clock. Castro grabbing the ball. It is ruled a fumble. Castro has recovered in the end zone. The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play. Madden is on the field. He wants to know if it's real. They said yes. Get your big butt out of here. He does. The Raiders won the football game. 52,000 people minus a few lonely Raider fans are stunned. This one will be relived forever.
It was my first nationally televised game as a referee. 10 seconds remaining in the game, and I thought, boy, you did it this time. Almost a perfect game. People are going to know who I am. I was excited on national television. I said to myself, what could possibly happen?
Incomplete pass, you're probably going to lose the game. Interception, you're probably going to lose the game. Sack, you're going to lose the game. And then the first thing that came to mind was, don't get trapped with the ball. Get rid of the ball. Throw the damn thing straight up if you have to. Roll it out there. Do whatever. Don't get trapped with the ball.
The ball flipped forward is loose. A wild scramble.
I began to chase it, and I'm going for the ball, and I knew that if I fell on it, he was going to fall right on me, and this thing's over with. I knew I had to bat it forward.
2 seconds on the clock. Casper grabbing the ball.
What I'm remembered for is being a dork, fumbling a ball through an end zone and falling on it. Everything I did was totally legal. Now, what some other people did might not have been.
Clock runs out. Game's over. I mean, get the hell out of there. Get off the field before they change the call.
He made a great play. And Banaszak made a great play. And Casper made a great play. Unfortunately, it damn near killed the chicken.
Football's pointed on both ends, and you drop the damn thing, it's going to bounce funny. And then when it bounces funny through 22 guys, 10 yards into the end zone, and we wind up with it, I mean, there had to be a higher power that had something to do with that.
The only call that I could make on that play was that the ball came out on the concussion of the tacklers.
You know, I didn't know that it was not permissible to knock a ball forward.
It was a fun thing. But what happened was wrong was 2 or 3 days later, we all started acting like we knew what we were doing. If we just would have shut up, they never would have done anything about it.
Shortly after the game, a T-shirt was stamped and sold in San Diego. In fact, I've got it in my den.
How the officials could either be so stupid, so blind, or so gutless to not make a call on any one of those 3 players. But as I said, it's 20 years later and I'm over it.
But at least one creature will never achieve closure with the Holy Roller.
Some more valuable information for our viewers. The Denver Museum of Natural History is the 4th largest of its kind in the United States.
Yeah, and the Raiders, they also made history that Holy Roller.
They did.
A few rule changes because that Raiders team, that's just one of them.
Let's see if anything changed from last week in our pick segment.
On top. Good
One thing
week.
stayed the same. Jerry's down there at the bottom once again, ladies. For the season, I'm coming after you. Yes, you're coming. That's all right. Out of 17,000 fans who registered their picks, we had just one perfect 13-0 mark, and we would like to commend Matt Merrifield from Burlington, New Jersey. And Jerry, forget about it. Forget about it. His phone number is unlisted. He's not going to give you any information. Early in the show, we picked several games. Now it's time to pick the rest. Quarterback Chris Chandler is doubtful as the 5-1 Falcons go into the Meadowlands to take on the Jets. We all agree on the Jets. The Bears got big contributions from 2 rookies to beat the Cowboys, but we all like the Tennessee Oilers. We all agree the Raiders will attack the 30th ranked defense in the NFL. The Bengals will lose. We all agree that San Francisco, and their average of 33 points per game, will easily handle the St. Louis Rams. Seattle has dropped 3 straight games, but we all like them to go into San Diego and make it a bad week all around for San Diego sports fans. Jerry disagrees with us. He likes the Chargers. Jerry likes Tampa Bay to win their first game on the road, but the rest of us like the Saints in New Orleans. Jerry's trying to catch up, folks. Now for the rest of the games in more detail. Baltimore at Green Bay. Ted Marchibroda in trouble in Baltimore.
You know what I don't like about this so far? Brett Favre is trying to do too much himself. I know he doesn't have Dorsey Levens. His running attack has not helped him, but he's got to relax a little bit, use all his weapons. Green Bay wins this game.
Well, you know one thing bad with the Ravens, their offense has not scored a touchdown in 10 quarters. They're playing this quarterback rotation, and they're trying to find a guy that can play. Their best quarterback is playing for the Jets. Ravens get beat.
I'm going to tell you who can play for the Ravens is that defensive line. Michael McCrary, Peter Borware, Ray Lewis at the linebacker position. But I think Brett Favre will relax enough to win this one. I like Green Bay.
Hey, Baltimore offensive line gave up 5 sacks last week. Now Green Bay, it'll even be more difficult. I like the Packers. Buffalo at Carolina. Bills have turned it over only one time in the last 3 games, Jerry.
How about Wade Phillips? He had the guts to stand up and say, we don't have a quarterback controversy. Well, the first thing you do as head coach, you tell the athletic trainer, be sure Rob Johnson is still injured, and let Flutie win the game. I'm going.
That's how he used to coach. I'm not lying to you. That's exactly what he would do. That's exactly right. Carolina's offensive line, though, too banged up to handle Bruce Smith and company. I like the Bills.
Hey, Eric Mose, the #1 pick a couple years ago, I thought he was a bust. Guess what? He's now become one of the better receivers. I like Buffalo.
I like the Bills as well. Bruce Smith is playing terrific. We got Pittsburgh at Kansas City. Now, both teams struggling on offense. Bam Morris, former star with the Steelers, traded to the Chiefs last week, may or may not play.
You know, the Steelers got back to what they do best last week, which is blitz the quarterback. But unfortunately for them, they don't have enough offense to knock off Kansas City in Kansas City. I like the Chiefs.
Well, you know, Jerome Bettis has always had big games against Kansas City. He usually bashes them for over 100 yards. But, you know, the bus has a slow leak in one of his tires. He's slowing down a little bit. I like Kansas City.
Remember Derek Thomas, first game, he had 6 sacks in game 1. Now he has a grand total of 7. There is no pass rush. Look for Cordell Stewart. He got booed at home. He'll play better on the road. Pittsburgh upset.
I'll tell you, the Patriots, Chris Slade did the Chiefs a favor. He said the Chiefs quit against his team. They will not quit against the Steelers. I like Kansas City. That's our show for this week. Remember, Inside the NFL premieres each Thursday evening at 11 p.m. If you miss any part of it, you can catch it again Fridays at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 11 a.m. Those times are Eastern and Pacific.